Hey guys, so I kind of mentioned this in my recent vlog where I was kind of having you guys follow along with me on one of our professional development days prior to students arriving back at the school. And I had mentioned in that video what I'm going to talk about in this video. So our local health department actually came to the school on that day and they were giving a presentation to the teachers. And basically, they gave out Narcan kits. And on the one hand, I think that it's definitely a very positive thing to do because the community that I live in definitely has a lot of addiction issues going on. There are a lot of people like in town who have drug addiction problems or alcohol addiction problems, but as we all know, the opioid addiction epidemic is definitely a very prevalent thing in basically anybody's life in America. I'm pretty sure that everybody at this point either knows somebody who has struggled with opioid addiction or has been someone that has struggled with addiction. It just kind of scares me a little bit about like how far this epidemic has come, because if we are to the point where we have to arm our teachers with kits in case kids come to school and overdose, it's very scary. I mean, yes, I do think that it's definitely positive that the health department saw it pertinent to bring these free kits to give out to every single teacher. Every single teacher got at least 2 kits. Even us as ECSE who are dealing with 3 to 5-year-olds, I mean, you never know what a child could get into, especially a special needs child who may not understand what it is that they are ingesting. I think it's definitely important to have available, like I said, because you never know what might happen. You could also have a parent who is overdosing on school property, and you never really know who might need Narcan. The scary thing, I think, is that it has come to the point where you need to have, like I said, multiple doses of Narcan in every single classroom simply because you don't know who could overdose when. And like I said, there is drug use, drug abuse, addiction, and all of those things within pretty much every community, whether you realize it or not. A lot of people are good at hiding those things, but it definitely gave me pause to think about like the level that this problem has become. Because when I was growing up and I was in elementary school, we didn't have these types of problems in the community that I live in. Or if we did, it was not on the level that it is currently. Like there are a lot of people in town that, you know, engage in these behaviors and activities because there's really not a whole lot to do in this area. We're kind of in a very rural area where like we just opened our movie theater back after years of it being closed. And even so, they only have one screen, so they can only show one movie at a time, and it is expensive. Tickets are $7 each, regardless of your age. And it's very difficult to find things to do in this area that are not super expensive or that you don't have to drive hours to go do. So a lot of people turn to like alcohol or drugs or not necessarily productive activities to engage in. And so, like I said, I definitely do think it's a good, positive thing that the health department decided to bring in these kits to offer to every single teacher. And I should say that my school does have an agreement with the health department. We actually have what is called the camp, which is the counseling and medical place. That's what CAMP stands for, camp, where we have counseling available to our students. We have medical care available to our students who may not otherwise be able to access those care things. Sorry, I don't know what word I was trying to think of, but if a student doesn't have access to that type of care otherwise, then they are able to access those things during school or after school or before school, in between classes, things like that. And all of that is a partnership with our local health department. So we do have people from the health department on campus. They also supply us with our school nurse. So it is definitely, important to keep in mind all of the different things that a student may need. And like I said, you never know when a student might pick something up at home, which happens to be an opiate or a narcotic or, whatever the case may be, and ingest that without realizing that's what it is. For those of you who don't know, and I haven't ever talked about this before on my channel that I know of, I actually was given LSD when I was in high school after asking a fellow student for an aspirin or a Tylenol or ibuprofen because I had a massive headache during Spanish class, and what he ended up giving me was LSD. If you guys would be interested in hearing more about that story, please let me know and I can share that with you. But just to give you guys kind of an idea of how simple and easily these things can happen, it's definitely scary to think about. But I do really like when my teacher came into the room yesterday and she was showing me these Narcan kits. Like, they gave us multiple doses in each kit and they gave us multiple kits. So it's definitely scary to think about, but it's also a really positive thing that the health department, like I said, did provide those kits, because you never know when something could happen. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a student. It could be a fellow employee of the school, or it could be a parent who has come in to drop their kid off or come in for an event after school, or somebody who's from another school coming in for a sports event or something like that. You never know when it could happen or who it could happen to, and it's just really scary to think about. So if you guys work in a school, or if you work in any job really, does your employer have Narcan kits available? Have you ever had to use Narcan on someone before? I think for me, that would be the scariest thing. I was talking with one of the other special education teachers yesterday, and she said that she feels a little bit uncomfortable about it because, if one dose doesn't work, she doesn't know how long she's supposed to wait until she uses another dose, or, how many doses do you give, is basically her concern, because I think there should have been like some sort of training involved with Narcan. If you're going to give it out, you should at least like give a little simple training on how to use it, when to use it, to answer questions, because I think it's good for people to understand what it is that they're doing and to understand how to use Narcan if they do need to use it. So anyways, I just thought that I would share that. If you work in a school, does your school have Narcan kits available in every classroom? Like I said, I do think it's important, but it's also kind of scary because it definitely says a lot about where we've come as a society, that we need to have Narcan kits available in every single classroom. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys, because that was like my biggest concern of the day yesterday was, the fact that our drug problems in this country have gotten to the level that we need to have Narcan kits in our classrooms, even as early childhood special education professionals, educators. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, any topics you'd like me to address in the future on my channel, please let me know and I'd be glad to get something filmed for you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.